Hi low carb and keto friends and family, welcome back to the channel. Remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, I'm just some chick on keto. Stay tuned with us as we get just a little bit cheesy. Welcome back everyone. Thanks so much for joining us again today. Do me a great big favor, would you? Click the like button, hit the subscribe button, and smack the notification bell so that you're informed every time we push out new content. This channel is for you to help you on your low carb and ketogenic lifestyle. When you do those things, it helps us to reach other people who might need this information. So we thank you so much for supporting us as we try to support you. So today we're actually going to be talking about dairy and cheeses and milks. So I'm going to go ahead and go through what I've got on the table here and just give you some information that I have learned along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the butters here. When you're on a keto and a low carb lifestyle, you want to be selecting a quality butter. So typically the best one for you to choose is a butter that is coming from grass-fed cows. When the cows are treated the best, they're going to produce a higher quality product. You know, we're trying to steer away from antibiotics and things that they may be injected with, trying to keep things pure. This is a nice choice for a butter here. It is made from grass-fed cows. It's an Irish butter. Kerrygold would be probably the equivalent as far as brand names are concerned. I will warn you not to get confused because I accidentally bought this the first time, and this is it looks almost identical. It says it's an Irish butter and that it's made from grass-fed cows, but when you go back to that ingredient list, you'll see that it also includes canola oil. That's what helps have its spreadability. Otherwise it would not spread so easily. And we talked about it in the oils video that we don't want canola oil in our diets. It's not a good and healthy oil. There's also just the regular butter that you get at the grocery store, and that's totally fine too. Some people like to use ghee, which is clarified butter. Indian people use it quite a lot for their cooking. I do have an image of that, so we'll post that image. But that's pretty much it for butters. You want to avoid margarines. You want to stick with pure 100% butter. The fat is a good thing, not a bad thing. Enjoy your butter because it's delicious. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about milk and creams. So with milk and creams, when you're on a keto diet, you can't have milk. Milk has something called lactose in it, and which is basically milk sugar. Typically what we use on a keto low carb lifestyle is an almond milk or coconut milk or a combination of the two. So the one that I have today is actually a combination of the two. It's got about 1 gram of carbohydrate per 8-ounce serving, but it also has a gram of fiber. So I would almost say that this could be a zero net carb product. However, I know that sometimes labels can get very tricky, and if their carb is under a certain amount, they can list it as 1 or they can list it as none, etc. I'll just go ahead and accept it as a 1 gram carb per 8 fluid ounce serving and still enjoy it. When you want to drink maybe a cream in your coffee, the best one to use would be a heavy whipping cream. So a heavy whipping cream is going to replace regular milk or maybe the powdered stuff that you used to use. Some people use half and half. Half and half is acceptable in a moderate amount. However, it would be better to go with the heavy whipping cream. That's much more keto friendly because it has the fat content that you need. Now, obviously it's heavy in calories, so if you're watching calories, that you'll just have to be careful about the moderation, moderate your portions. I'd also like to talk about yogurt because typically you can't eat yogurt when you're on a ketogenic diet. However, recently I have found that there are some keto yogurts out there. I was very pleased to discover this keto, this Ratio brand keto-friendly yogurt. As you can see, they say that they have about 2 net carbs, 2 grams of carbs there for this entire container. Now, I will tell you that they're not using whole milk. They are using like a reduced fat milk, but I am going with the fact that this is probably not quite so bad for you. When I read the ingredients list, I thought it's probably something that I can accept on my diet. Now, I love to add chia seeds and other types of nuts, etc., or seeds to my yogurt just to give me a little bit of a crunch factor. Chia seeds are incredibly healthy for you, give you all kinds of good benefits when you add those, and then just having the nuts for the texture and so forth, it's really nice. Chia seeds are great. They're really, really tiny, so they do kind of get stuck in your teeth, but they don't really have like a flavor, but it's really nice to have the texture. And chia seeds, you can add them to smoothies. They just have so many antioxidants, and they're high in calcium and so forth, so they're a great addition to a yogurt. Another yogurt that I found today is called Too Good, and it's also stating that it's got 2 grams of carbs for the container. Now, this one I did find when I read the container, it's probably not a choice I personally would make, but maybe if you're on a regular low carb diet, you wouldn't mind making this choice. I'm just going to turn to the ingredients list here. I don't know if you can see that, but it's going to be a little bit hard to see, so I'll just go ahead and read off some of the ingredients. But it has tapioca starch in it, and tapioca starch might be something that you don't necessarily want in your yogurt. It's not uncommon, unfortunately, that everything has fillers and additives and so forth, so it's really hard sometimes, and you just have to make a choice. How important is it to you, and make the choice. So for cheeses, one of the things we want to make sure when we get our cheese, again, if we can get a grass-fed cheese, made from grass-fed cows, that's great. Some of these are also stating that they have not been treated with the RBST hormones that a lot of milk and other dairy products have been treated with, so I think that's a good thing. You have to really get used to reading all of your labels, because as I'm gonna show you, especially with like sliced cheeses or shredded cheeses, they could have potato starch, tapioca starch, corn starch, because they're being used as like anti-caking agents so that the cheese doesn't stick together or clump. They can have other kinds of fillers added to them. Probably in moderation they may be okay, but if you're following a super strict keto diet, maybe you don't want them in your diet and you just want to go with raw cheese or shred your own cheese, etc. That way you know there's no fillers or additives added to it. Whenever you choose a cheese, go for the full fat. You're not looking for anything low fat, so right here you can see the cream cheese. It's just a regular original cream cheese here that I've chosen. Very simple ingredients. Same thing with the ricotta cheese here. I went with the one made with whole milk rather than the skim milk, because I'm trying to have as much fat in there as possible. It gets a little harder when you try to get into the mozzarella cheese. I've looked, I haven't found anything other than skim. We eat a lot of string cheese in the house too. It's great for a quick snack on the go, and the string cheeses they seem very clean when you look at the ingredients. It's not like a ton of things in there that you wouldn't want. We've also talked about spreadable cheeses as well. These soft cheeses that you can use maybe when you're eating raw vegetables. You can just sort of use them to spread over a cucumber or spread over any kind of raw vegetable, dip carrots and what have you. It's quite delicious. That's pretty much all that we have on the dairy side today. I hope that you learned something. Just remember, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert, I'm just some chick on keto. I'm hoping that my journey is going to help your journey. I welcome any questions and comments that you have along the way. Anyway, stay blessed, and we'll catch you in the next one.